Owners of some popular Ram trucks made right here in Michigan say their vehicle is making them sick.
And tonight, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles acknowledges this is a problem they intend to fix. 7 investigator Ross Jones has been looking into this for months now, and he's here now with his latest investigation. Ross?
Carolyn, Stephen, good evening. Owners of certain Ram 1500 Ecodiesel trucks say their vehicle is causing them headaches, lightheadedness, even coughing fits, all while they're behind the wheel.
The 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year.
The Ram 1500 is one of the most celebrated trucks on the planet. It's the only vehicle ever to be named Truck of the Year 2 years in a row, thanks in part to what Motor Trend's editor-in-chief called game-changing diesel technology.
It's absolutely a huge gamble, I think, to bring diesel to the light-duty market, but as you can see, it's totally paid off.
And it's paid off with big sales. When Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, or FCA, introduced the 1500 Ecodiesel, it promised a rough and tough truck that could deliver great fuel economy, up to 28 miles per gallon. It was so popular that within 3 days of taking orders, Ram sold out and had to double production. But some 1500 owners would just as soon give the truck back than give it an award. Owners like Hank Vanderholst, who we spoke to from California.
At its worst, you kind of feel like maybe you should pull over and not drive.
Hank's 1500 was his third Ram truck, and he loved it at first. But 5 months later, he says his 1500's cabin started to fill with exhaust fumes.
It concerns me. I don't really want to drive my daughter around in a truck if it's leaking anything into the cab. It's that overwhelming of a diesel smell. And some 1,700 miles away in Midland, Texas, Chris and Renee DeVore are telling the same story. Their Ecodiesel cost about $53,000 when they bought it last summer. Within a few months and only 3,000 miles on the road, that diesel smell started to pump through their air conditioning vents too. It was faint at first.
And then it got to be a choking diesel fume smell. And then I knew that something was very wrong.
Were you literally sometimes choking from the fumes?
Absolutely. You had to have the windows down.
FCA declined to appear on camera, but said this problem wasn't worth a story because it affected only 11 trucks nationwide. But we knew that couldn't be true because we'd already heard from almost twice as many owners complaining of the problem in their truck. We found them through Ram message boards like these. By phone, David in Florida told me that the fumes are strong enough that you get headaches. Ryan in North Carolina worried about effects the fumes could have on his pregnant wife and young son, saying the smell made him feel like I was intoxicated. Complaint after complaint tell the story, and they keep rolling in. A week after we shared them with FCA, they acknowledged that the problem was bigger than they first told us. In an email, spokesman Eric Main confirmed the problem affected Ram Ecodiesel trucks, but it was only limited to those with a 4x2 drivetrain. Main refused to say how many trucks were affected, but said owners will be notified through what's called a technical service bulletin, not a recall. Those are only necessary for safety problems, he said, and this isn't one of those.
We can all agree it probably is a safety problem.
Sean Kane isn't as sure. He's president and founder of Safety Research and Strategies. We spoke with him from his Maryland offices, where he said problems like leaking exhaust can be serious, but often fall through the regulatory cracks.
It's ultimately going to be a safety problem, but at the end of the day, it's probably not going to kill or injure anybody acutely. Therefore, it's going to fall off the charts in terms of priorities. Any exhaust leak into a cabin of a vehicle is not good. That presents a health risk to anybody inside.
Well, FCA disagrees. They say they performed internal tests and that the carbon monoxide levels inside vehicle cabs are safe, well below OSHA guidelines. A spokesman tells us the problem here is a crack in the exhaust coupling, and any needed fixes will be covered by the vehicle's warranty, and he insists this would have still come to light even without our questions.
Now, first of all, I have a 4x4 that's non-diesel, so that's not affected.
You're good.
Okay.
You're fine.
Now, if you do happen to have one of these 4x2 Ecodiesels, what do you do?
Well, what a lot of folks said has worked is if you turn the air conditioner on recirculate, that makes most of the problem go away. So as a temporary fix, a short-term solution, they recommend you do that.
Well, at least that's short-term, but that sounds scary, especially if you're a mother and you have a
Sure,
baby
you
in the
don't want to
car
be dizzy behind the wheel of a car.
and feeling intoxicated, as that one guy said. All right, thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Ross.